So we're going to start here. It comes right back to this message of being overlooked taught you to shrink yourself first. I think this is what we're dealing with here collectively in our community, in our group, as a people. I really do think that's a big, big issue here. So we're going to talk about this as our new moon reading is this new moon in Cancer. We're going to be concentrating on what it was that taught us to shrink ourselves, and this one refused to go away. So I'm gonna put this together too. And they kind of go hand in hand. So I'm definitely gonna put these together. Being overlooked taught you to shrink yourself first, but the second card is silence proved you were never in control. If you didn't exercise your voice, didn't feel like you can exercise your voice, you reserved your voice because you didn't want to get into it, or you didn't want anybody to take anything a different kind of way or hurt anybody kind of feelings, if you just accepted things silently or passive aggressively, that means you weren't in control. And so in today's message, you are being dragged to the altar to put yourself first. So it says here, being overlooked taught you to shrink yourself first. So being overlooked taught you to shrink yourself, meaning people not seeing you or seeing past you taught you to feel like you were invisible. Thank you for the flower. And part of being invisible is staying silent. Because if someone's overlooking you, call them out, right? And this is definitely a good lesson for me because I used to go, do people know who I am? Like they would, for instance, when I was doing online business and I would help people, and I was charging like little ass prices, like $99. At one point, I got up to $999, but I gave her 12 weeks of my life, you know? And I was just like, talk about undervaluing yourself. Meanwhile, they would then turn around, go to a different coach, pay them $10,000, $20,000, and then come back to me and ask me the question. And it's like, don't you have a coach? Yeah, but you know, I learned so much more than you, but you didn't pay me more. Well, I didn't ask more. So like I said, I used to feel bitter and be like, don't they know who I am? And one day I felt like God say to me, you can substitute spirit. And it was like, do you know who you are? And I think these cards here today for this new moon, it's July. We still have 5 more months of this month. I think it's time for you to answer that question. Do you know who you are? And if you don't, this is the journey. So one of the things to do is to consider, where have you been overlooked? Where do you show up small when you have more than enough to I would just say to shine, or to be the point person, depending on how this plays out in your life, that you have more than enough to be the person they go to, or you have enough to be the success you see other people having, even though they're mediocre in their own ways. And not, I won't say bragging about yourself, but not talking about the gift that you have and the people you're here to share it with. I think that in itself is shrinking. I'm definitely talking to myself here. So, one of the reasons people are in a reversal of life right now is a couple of things. We have a Queen of Pentacles right here. And this Queen of Pentacles is the opposite of who she's supposed to be because she's in the reverse. A Queen of Pentacles is a nurturer, is a person of abundance, a person of high value, high self-value. You see, she's holding that coin in her lap. It's hers. You know, she's not giving it away to anybody. So this is like knowing who she is, again, self-value, but this is also like creating abundance out of what she already possesses is what I'm seeing here. Additionally, there's a rabbit at her feet. I think that goes with the abundance and the multiplication, because y'all know when rabbits get busy, they do things. I want to see what else if they mention this rabbit in their book. Yeah, that's interesting. I was talking about business. So she is balanced between business and home. She is financially independent while still exuding nurturing energy for her loved ones. Um, in the reverse, though, she turns inward, which can manifest selfish decisions or work life imbalance. Um, and it's saying, ask if you're doing things for the right reason. I think it's a little bit more than that here. I think this is just not actually valuing yourself. I think it's not seeing what you have within, especially because taking in account the energies that we're reading on here, I think this is more along the lines of what this Queen in Reverse is saying, is that you don't value yourself enough. And I think this is where we start to turn the tide if we could start doing this. The other interesting thing here is the second card that hit the deck, hit the table, which is the Seven of Wands. Now, Seven of Wands is about like standing your ground, defending yourself, protecting, speaking up for yourself, even because wands are about messaging. Let me see if they have it differently in this particular book. Da, 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 da. Yeah, just challenges, defending your position. Um, ah, ooh, it says trust in yourself. And so in the reverse, honey, we are not doing that. The challenges you're facing may leave you feeling defensive, overwhelmed, or defeated. Keep calm and ignore the hate and stay true to your path. Okay. So again, it comes right back to the trust. It comes right back to the trust. It comes right back to knowing who you are, learning how to value yourself. And if you're a person who doesn't, let me tell you, this is the best advice I ever heard. And when I applied it to my own life, and I need to do it again, but when I applied it to my own life, I remember like hearing myself speak about me, about myself, going, oh, what the heck? Oh, you're that girl. Like, I was like, really? You're that girl, right? Because I was doing a webinar training and I wrote about myself in the beginning because that's what you're supposed to do with those slides. And when I heard what I was doing and who I was like, you know what? I would pay you. Okay. Okay. We're that girl, right? But it took me a long time to get there. So the best advice I ever heard was to write your own resume, not for a job, but for your life. And it's like literally look at the things that you've accomplished, the things that you've overcome, the circumstances you thought would have taken you out or that have taken other people out. It's like really start looking at you as the badass you actually are, because you're not gone whether you try to or not, because you know I've had a moment or two. The fact is, you're still here. You're still breathing. You still have things to do because as long as you have breath, you have purpose. And so, when you look back at your path, though, like this is part of the work that I do when I do, I don't know if I'm gonna get back to it, but I probably will because I think so many people still need it. Is like when I do the business coaching calls, I walk them through their process of looking back at themselves, and it's about looking at the things that you've overcome. Like, look at your experience. What are you really good at? And if you don't think you're good at anything, then fine. What do people tell you you're really good at? What lights you up? What brings you joy to do, to just learn, to just be in? What are the experiences that you've had? And some people feel like because they've experienced things that other people have experienced, that their own particular experience isn't important. But I often use the example of the fact that my very first trip to Paris, I was a teacher. And since I was leading a field trip, I was going for free. They were sending us for free to check out Paris. And so to see how one of their tours go. And so I'm on this plane. It's like 180 of us in this plane, I'm assuming, because it was a big plane. We were going from Miami to Paris. And we were leaving, I think, at night or something so that we would arrive there in the morning. People on the plane were sleeping. I would say the majority, 90% or more, of the plane was asleep because we were leaving overnight so that we would arrive fresh for Paris, because Paris is forward, right? Like 5 or 6 hours. I wasn't asleep. And two very amazing things that have stayed with me for the last almost 20 years. One, I got to see a moonrise for the first time in my life. I don't know if I saw it ever again, really, but for the first time ever in my life. I grew up in Miami, so I've seen sunrises, but I've never seen a moonrise. And so, uh, thanks. Yeah, I taught for 15 years, but I spoke before that. Don't ask me about grammar because I was a teacher learning as I taught. Because I was like, what's the difference between you and me, you and I? When do you, like, listen, I was Googling. But anyway, so as we're flying to Paris, the moon is rising out of this bed of clouds. And so the clouds were as expansive as the ocean, like so above, so below. Like it looked like water, and it has, and it was just beautiful. And then I just watched this gold orb, or this pale pearly orb, start rising above it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a moonrise. And I was like looking around to see if anybody else had seen it. I was like, what? Nobody's seeing it, right? It was just life changing for me. And I'm going to tie this together in a second. The second thing that I saw as we were flying to Paris, this is the same flight. Hey, beautiful. As we're flying to Paris, the same flight. The sun has come up and everything. So now, because we're flying into the day instead of the night. So I looked down in the window. This is why I like window seats, because I like to see. So I looked down in the window and I saw a rainbow. We were flying over the rainbow. When they sang somewhere over the rainbow, it was me. I was the one. I was over the rainbow. I was in the plane over the rainbow. And it was so amazing. I'm a dork, but it was so amazing to me. And I'm just like, and everybody is like knocked the hell out. And I'm like, I saw a moonrise and I flew over a rainbow. Oh my God, my life has changed. So if I was to write about those experiences, they seem rather normal. Other people are on flights and stuff. I was on a flight with 180 people. They would have had the same experience if they were alert, paying attention, and excited about the trip they were taking instead of asleep, right? There's lessons right there. Two, I would have never been able to be over a rainbow or even to see this kind of moonrise if I was not going into a different place than I've ever been. If I was not in the air as opposed to on the ground. If I was not a person to say yes to opportunity, right? So when I teach people to look at their experiences, it's like, okay, what's the lesson in that experience? Because it didn't happen in a vacuum. Things occurred, whether you paid attention to it or not. You hear how excited I am about those experiences. But so when I talk about the lessons, I can talk about like how to be awake on the journey, to delight in surprises, to not be so worried about the destination, but actually pay attention to the journey that you're on, to get off the ground, like stop looking down, well, I had to look down and see the rainbow, but it's like you have to get into a different space to experience something you've never experienced before. So I can sit here and list all these lessons about it, But one of the biggest things I get to take when I'm teaching people about how to look at their experiences is I was on an airplane with 180 other people. And I'm one of the only people who actually had both of those experiences on that same exact flight. So while you may experience a similar thing like other people experience, the way that you experience it, the way that you filter, the way that you feel about it is the way, is the way, is the lesson, is the thing that you get to teach somebody else. I love that get off the grind. Yeah, Susie, because honestly, I think life gets to be easy for you if you let it be. I truly do believe that. So when we talk about these two cards here, you guys, when we're talking about not being in your Queen of Pentacle bag, meaning valuing yourself, valuing your experiences, valuing your own knowledge, valuing who you are, or even knowing. And we talk about you not trusting in yourself. That's where we have this problem of, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I want to be. I don't know where I want to go with life. You got to trust that everything's going to work out the way that it's supposed to. You have to trust that the universe got you, period. Because one thing I do know, everything negative gets used for a purpose. It's not that there's a reason for everything. That I don't take. But I take that everything can be used for a reason. So to bring that home with our collective message here is there's a 7 of Pentacles here. And this 7 of Pentacles is this guy by a tree, right? And a tree, and I love that it's a tree and not a bush or a plant like the other one is in the regular things, because trees take more time. I got a lesson a couple of years ago, and I'm going to share it with you guys right now. Because I'm a person, I won't say that I'm jealous. I'm not a jealous person per se, but I can get bitter. And I saw Mel Robbins. She had did a video, and this is the first time I've ever come across her Instagram or whatever. And her video said, if you're looking at someone and you feel any animosity towards them, any anger, any jealousy, anything towards them, that's because they're reminding you of what you're not doing. So if you see somebody getting on a plane and going to a trip and you're like, ugh, they never have to work or whatever it is, you have to check yourself, because there's something in you that needs to be paid attention to. Right. And so, like, if I saw people speaking, I'm like, I'm a good speaker. Why doesn't anybody reach out to me? Well, guess what? If I'm feeling that way about them speaking, that's because I'm not speaking. And if I'm not speaking and I feel that way about them speaking, that's because I know I'm called to speak in one way or another. Because, that's the other thing, is sometimes things don't look the way you think they do. Like, for instance, being Oprah, I wanted my own show. Well, guess what I got right now? Y'all are on my own show. Thank you. Anyway, it's not produced or anything, but I get to talk to people, and I love talking to people and asking them questions and stuff of that nature. That's why I hate talking one-sidedly. I hate talking one-sidedly. I prefer communication, conversation. But so that lesson there of, if there's anything that is triggered in you, that trigger is often because it's a reminder of what you're not doing for your own life. So the lesson I got that I want to share with you as regarding the tree is, and I brought the Mel Robbins thing up because of this, is that some people are flowers. Some people are flowers, but some people are trees. Some people are passing. People get to go, ooh, ah. And some people are nurturers. Some people's legacies are meant to stay long after they're gone. Some people are to be ogled at, and some people are to provide sustenance. I received in one of my meditations that I'm a tree. I'm not a flower. So if I don't do the ooh ah, if I don't look the beauty part, if I don't do the cut creases and the lace wigs and all that stuff, I got to be fine with that. I can't hate on anybody who does that because one, I'm not going to do it. I don't want to. And two, and that's the other thing, be honest about what you're willing to do. I'm not willing to get all put together to do videos consistently. So yes, my growth is slower. I am the tree. But I know that the fruit, the seeds that I drop or that I produce, they feed people and they in turn feed other people and they in turn feed other people. So there are flowers and then there's trees. This Seven of Pentacles is saying that you forgot that, or maybe you didn't know that. But your harvest is on tree time, not flower time, not quick little plant time, not a 30-day tomato. But yours is like a mango tree. My dad's been very, very patient with his tree. One year it produced no fruit. The next year it produced 4 fruit. The next year it produced 2 fruit or something. And the fruit just wasn't tasty. This year, that fruit is abundant. And he's been able to share it now. Instead of before, he just mailed off 4 of the fruits to his mom because he's a mama's boy. She's 91 years old, so but that's the example here, is that you have to remember your tree. Your growth is going to be slower, but your roots are going to be deeper and your fruit is going to produce long after you're not able to. That's one of the things I want y'all to really embrace, especially if you're 40, 50, 60, 70 years old and it feels like, okay, now life gets to begin. Okay, it does. Because your tree needed to take time. And if you don't even feel yet ready to begin, well, cultivate the tree, you know? Feed it, give it what it needs so that it will continue to grow. So when we get back to the themes here of being overlooked taught you to shrink yourself first, and silence proved you were never in control, this is about not honoring and respecting the seed that's within you that has been growing within you because you're not giving it what it needs. It needs fertile soil. It needs water. Sometimes those are tears, okay? And it needs patience and it needs trust that it's going to get there. Trust that you're going to get there because, again, as long as you have breath, you have purpose. And this collective message for this new moon in Cancer is to remind you that there's so much more to you than you've actually given yourself credit for. And at this time, you've got to get very clear about those 2 questions. What do I want to create? Like, what do I want for the rest of my life? Or at least the next phase of my life? And who do I need to become to create it? And I'm going to add a 3rd question because you got to be honest with yourself. Are you willing to become that? Because if the answer is no, then you don't want it and you need to get honest about what you actually want. Okay? Or think of what's another way I can get it. So that is our message here. Our message here is to find value within yourself and nurture that, and to trust yourself in your journey and to give yourself what you need. Because if you're feeling stuck, stagnant, your world has burnt down, you're no longer the success you used to be, or you're still the black sheep, or whatever that answer is, that's because we need to see ourselves as we really, 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 truly are. And if we don't know that yet, we got to get to know that. So write your resume, the things that you've overcome, the things that would have taken other people out, the things you thought you never get through, the things that that you're actually proud of. Be them small or be them big. The things that have excited you, like me going over the rainbow or seeing the moon rise from the plane. I want you to consider those things. And then I want you to consider, what did they give you? What are the lessons? What were the feelings? What did you walk away with it? And what are you going to carry forward with you from there? So, in this phase of my life, I don't know where I'm going. I'm trying to trust what it is and what it looks like. I don't know why I'm signed up for another mediumship class, my third one, but I know that I'm following the nudges and I trust that this path will unfold. And I hope you do the same. Follow your nudges and trust that the answer will come. Because I can promise you, if it was not going to be for you, or if it was not going to work for you, it would not. It would burn down. You would feel it in your body, in your soul. Like teaching, I did it for 15 years. 15 of those were not for me. And I mean that. Like the very first day I taught, I had a dream that I was supposed to be acting. I had no idea. And then I got to do it for a little while. But my autism side doesn't like auditioning. So it sucks. But anyway, so your body will respond. Your body will tell you. I developed high blood pressure. I gained weight. I got hives. I got migraines. I got anxiety problems. I had gastric problems because I was in a job that was not aligned with me. Every job like that has a timer. And when you go past that timer, the health issues follow you. So don't talk yourself into staying anywhere. Don't let fear keep you in a place that is not for you. But before you can take that leap, you've got to actually examine yourself. Who are you? What do you want? What's next? Listen, that timer will get you. So, really quickly before we close this out, any subscribers have a yes/no question? Any members have a specific question? We'll let you ask one question each before we close this out. Because I'm going to actually get some sleep today. And then tomorrow we'll pick back up with the political. So I'm going to wait for a second, see if you have a question, say yes or something like that so that I know that I'm waiting for you to write out your question. So just say yes. And then you can write out your question. I just need to know if I'm waiting for anybody. Otherwise, I took my other medicine and I gotta go to the bathroom. So Lisa, is that a question for you though? Oh, you got what you needed? Okay. Perfect. All right, I'm trying to see if I'm waiting on anybody else. But yeah, as far as the birthday reading, and Becky, you can just use my link if you're able to, and go through that. If you need a different way, I think you should be fine. But if you need a different way to pay for it, let me know. Because I think that uses Stripe. So Stripe, I think Stripe only does card or something. Okay, you got what you needed. Perfect. Okay, good. I like that. All right. See, I picked up on it. It's kind of something I needed too, anyway. But, like I said, I prayed. I asked for Spirit to tell me where we're going, and I like it. So, y'all, the bathroom is calling me now since we are done, and I'm not waiting on any more questions. So I'm going to call it a good night, y'all, and then I'll see you tomorrow.